6:35. We will now reconvene for public session. I want to welcome everyone to our board meeting tonight. Governing board meetings are a business meeting of the board held in public. The board wishes to thank all of those attending our meeting and values public participation. Our student representative, Joelle Moore from Clovis High, will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Joelle. During closed session, the board reviewed routine personnel matters. I'll entertain a motion to approve those personnel matters as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Dr. Fulmer, will you please give us your superintendent's report?
Well, thank you, President Moore. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of student wins. One is Granite Ridge Intermediate 7th grader Alice Fang is one of just 30 finalists selected to compete in the 2025 Thermo Fisher Scientific Junior Innovators Challenge. The middle school finalists will travel to Washington, D.C. October 24th through the 29th to participate in the finals week of the competition. All finalists receive a $500 kind of cash reward and will compete for over $100,000 in prizes. Her project is titled, this is so impressive, Transforming Waste into Value, the Impact of Grape Pomace Variety and Extraction Parameters on Grape Seed Oil Yield and Physiochemical Properties. And the work she has done with local farmers here to research to make sure there's no waste at all in production processes is pretty impressive. It came from wanting to help our local farmers increase efficiency and profitability, so she decided to study whether the remains of grapes could be used to produce cold press grape seed oil for farmers to sell. And so I just wanted to share the story because the work Alice is doing, quite honestly, when there's a whole technical description that I'll send you. I have to look up some of the technical terms that she has. It's so impressive. And it's just one story of the many that reflect the amazing and next level thinking that our students are doing across our district. There is an amazing, I think you received it, a link, but there is an amazing preschool farm that has just opened. And this is, talk about people going above and beyond. I had the privilege to go out to Buchanan High School last Thursday to see the dedicated work of our preschool and VAPA teams on display. With Prop $28, they used a portable located on the Buchanan High School campus, and teachers from across the district assembled to create an intricate farm life-themed, hands-on exhibit space for preschoolers. The interactive learning environment includes lessons about fruits and vegetables, farm animals, growth cycle, obviously has music. And the field trips are for all 44 of our preschool classes. Will begin in October and continue through December. They will all do a visit to this. And then in January, the classroom will be transformed into an outer space theme. And so I just want to share, when I went, I encourage you to visit if you want to. I'll get you times when kids will be there. I have a schedule. But this was more than just a well-decorated classroom. It really reminds me of a children's museum with a lot of exploration and hands-on. It's very well done. The Clovis South area, I wanted to highlight a few things because they have a class of freshmen, so with the board report, but we have the Terry Bradley Educational Center ribbon cutting ceremony is the morning of October 2nd after the breakfast that the Foundation for Clovis Schools puts on. They are also going to host Clovis South and Sanchez Intermediate, the first football game on the district's first artificial turf field, and it'll be this Saturday at 9 a.m. when Sanchez Intermediate takes on Clark. And they've had a lot of firsts, so they had their first volleyball win, and they're just excited about the opportunity to get to build a culture out there. Fresno Fair, it's near fair time, starting next week. Clovis FFA has 90 students and 110 animals competing in this year's fair. The junior art exhibit hall will be filled with artwork created by our very talented students. And in fact, student art awards take place the evening of October 2nd. That's a busy day. But I've been told that Clovis Unified students have won 11 of the 14 Best in Show Art Awards. So our visual arts teams are doing a phenomenal job on mentoring our students. It's a busy time of year. It starts busy and it just continues through these months. Our administrative team and I have been hearing from staff as part of our annual athletic reviews. They've been phenomenal, the 3 that we've had. We hold them with each area, and when those are completed, we'll start into our academic reviews with each area, which is just a great time to learn supports that we can provide and the work and focus that each of them have. We also hold our regular listening tours with our departments to determine that's their form of a review of how things are going and what supports they need. And it talks about how to produce some positive outcomes and help us as we grow, continue to be relational and efficient in meeting the needs of our district. We also have coming up mini plays and athletic games. I mean, we are in full season with the first play opening tomorrow night. It's the musical. And with that, I'll kind of say my site visits are beginning, and I know some of you are working to sign that, but I kick that off tomorrow with a visit to Alta Sierra. And then just milestones. This year is unique. We're in our 65th year as a district, and I just wanted to highlight, it's always fun to celebrate some big moments for some of our school sites, and we have some big anniversaries this year. We celebrated at their back to school night, but 10 years. Boris is in their 10th year, 10 years. 20 years for Woods Elementary. 25 years for Century, Clovis East High School, and CART. 30 years for Maple Creek Elementary School. 50 years for Gateway High School. 130 years for Clovis Grammar School, which eventually became Clovis Elementary, but the same name went. And then last but not least, the original Fort Washington is celebrating its 150th anniversary. So you'll get invitations to the things that the sites decide to do, but some big milestones. When we think about our district, it was 7 independent school districts that came, Fort Washington being one of them that created Clovis Unified. So just a lot of rich history. I'm very grateful for it.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Fulmer. Ms. Moore, we are ready to hear your student representative report.
Good morning, President Moore, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Fulmer, Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Gear. This is the Student Board Report for September 24th, 2025. The first is Buchanan High School. Great things are happening in Bear Nation. The fall athletic season is underway. BHS football is experiencing a winning season and will take on Paso Robles at home this Friday. Boys and girls water polo teams both enjoyed wins last week and are eagerly anticipating continuing on their successful trajectory. Cross country competed at the Woodbridge Classic this last weekend, with several team and individual wins. Girls volleyball will welcome incoming Bears at their annual Spirit Night this coming Tuesday. Good luck to all the teams as they continue in their seasons. Buchanan High School Robotics is headed to San Jose this weekend for an exciting competition. Good luck to all those headed to represent BHS. Buchanan's annual Bear Bash is next weekend on October 4th at the Clovis Rodeo Grounds. Bear Bash brings together the Bear Nation community to help raise money for scholarships, student programs, and athletic and academic teams. This evening is a fun-filled way to connect with others who have a stake in seeing the Buchanan community thrive. Bear Nation is eagerly ramping up for the homecoming season. Homecoming week will kick off with Buchanan's first rally of the year. Fall athletes will be celebrated and the homecoming court will be recognized. This week will progress with fun activities, dress-up days, and a club parade. And at the end of the homecoming football game, a homecoming dance. Next, we have Clovis High School, who is upholding the blue and gold standard. September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and last week, the Clovis High student body and staff were invited to the Clovis High Suicide Prevention and Awareness Fair at lunch in the amphitheater. CHS peer counselors and psychology club hosted various mental health organizations who handed out mental health resources, pamphlets, goodies, and swag. CHS students were able to talk with mental health professionals and our very own trained peer counselors. As a result, CHS students were treated to positive conversations and camaraderie surrounding making teen mental health a priority within our school and community. The rain couldn't slow down the Cougars. On a very wet Thursday night, Clovis High shut out Bullard with an amazing 35-0 victory. From big plays on the field to students and fans cheering through the storm, It was a night full of Cougar pride. Last weekend, Cougar Country's barbecue was a huge success. There's nothing better than seeing the community come together for a night of delicious food, dancing, and fun. CHS is so thankful for the incredible support of the Cougar community in helping raise funds to support all of the student activities and programs at Clovis High. Next up is Homecoming Week. We hope you'll join us on October 3rd as CHS presents Clovis, A Gateway to Homecoming. Go Cougars! Next up is Clovis East High School, where it's a great day to be a Timberwolf. Students and staff at Clovis East kicked off Hispanic Heritage Month by celebrating Mexican Independence Day with a grito calling contest and a lunchtime performance by Ballet Folklorico. Last week, Clovis East hosted the Fall Agriculture Fair and welcomed local elementary students to the Ag Center, where FFA members facilitated more than 30 interactive stations. Visitors learned about agriculture, animals, food and nutrition, mechanics, plants, and natural resources through hands-on experiences led by FFA students. Homecoming Week brought high energy across campus with themed dress-up days, a homecoming carnival, and a spirited parade showcasing many REC clubs and organizations. Administrative Assistant Carrie Shatirian was honored as this year's Grand Marshal, a fitting tribute as she retires at the end of the week. At halftime, skits were more competitive than ever, with a new crowd vote adding excitement. The sophomore class took first place by streaming Super Bowl halftime hits, and the Timberwolves football team sealed the evening with a victory over Lemoore. To recognize AP excellence, students scoring a 5 on AP exams received high five, you got a 5 yard signs delivered in their classes. Senior Manasa Koda, who earned 5 5s, was honored by the full administrative team. The Wolfpack will close out September with its first rally of the year and the homecoming dance on Friday. Next, we have Clovis North High School, where the Stampede embodies unity, courage, and commitment every day. Happy homecoming from Clovis North. Last Friday, Clovis North Educational Center participated in Chalk the Walk for Suicide Prevention Awareness Month. Students filled the sidewalks with supportive notes showing that on our campus, no one walks alone. Leadership students also joined the Copper Hills Minor Run to cheer on our future Broncos and celebrate their accomplishments. Broncomania was a huge success. Elementary football players wished the Broncos luck as they ran out of the tunnel, and elementary cheerleaders performed at halftime in front of a packed crowd. We're grateful for our supportive feeder schools who proudly represent the Stampede. Next week, Scott Berkovich returns to Clovis North Educational Center to inspire our leadership students and continue teaching the importance of building community. This Friday at lunch, Clovis North will host a pep rally in the amphitheater to kick off Homecoming Week. Homecoming is here and the Stampede is ready to celebrate being Broncos. This year's theme is Stampede's Got Talent, spotlighting ventriloquism, magic, dance, and singing to showcase the talents that bring our community together. More than a show, it's a reminder that we always stampede together as we continue building our legacy. Join us for the club parade, halftime skits, and crowning of our 2025 King and Queen. Our Grand Marshal, Mr. Corbett, will also announce the game. Go Broncos! And last but not least, Clovis West High School, where the Golden Eagles soar with Olympic spirit. Clovis West counselors recently hosted a college fair during lunch, giving students the opportunity to connect with representatives from a wide range of colleges and universities, helping the Golden Eagles prepare for their futures. Clovis West recently hosted My Jersey, Your Impact, a meaningful staff appreciation event at a home game football game. During this special evening, student athletes and performers from football, band, and cheer selected staff members who have made a lasting impact on their lives. Each chosen staff member was honored with the gift of a jersey to wear during the game, symbolizing the bond between students and mentors who guide, support, and inspire them. The heartfelt gesture highlighted the deep connections across campus and celebrated the teachers and staff who play such an important role in shaping the Golden Eagle experience. That same evening, the community came together to recognize senior night for the band, color guard, and the Clovis West Pom and cheer teams, celebrating the commitment and leadership of the class of 2026. Peer counseling also led CDUB in Suicide Prevention Week, spreading awareness through signage and resources, reminding students that support and connection are always available. leadership students extended their spirit beyond campus, volunteering at feeder school jogathons and building relationships with future Golden Eagles. In athletics, Unified Soccer proudly kicked off its season, showcasing inclusion, teamwork, and sportsmanship. This concludes the board report for September 24th. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Moore. Did anybody have any questions for our student representative?
Miss Moore, were you there in the rain at the football game?
I was not.
Oh.
I had golf practice,
Oh,
so I can't miss that.
and your dad's up in the booth, so he's out of the rain? Isn't your dad?
He was on the field.
Oh, he's on the field. Well, he was in the rain.
He was in the rain.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a real question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not that yours wasn't. I'm sorry, Mr. Autry. I didn't mean it that way. I meant I have a question that she can answer more.
Yes.
I'm just digging in, aren't I? Okay, I think it's appropriate see her to ask this question tonight because our Clovis City Youth Commission is here, and I know you have served on that this last year. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your experiences on that, maybe some of your highlights?
Yeah, so I think one of my biggest highlights being on that commission was seeing so many people from different walks of life, because who selects us, they do a really good job of picking people with different strengths and people who do different sports or in different activities. So it was really interesting seeing people who aren't my normal go-to friends, like maybe not athletes. There's a lot of people on the robotics team. Like, it's been a really nice experience to meet these people and learn that we have similar ideas, we have differing ideas, and how to collaborate to make solutions that we think will benefit just youth as a whole in Clovis.
That was a great answer, Joelle. Any other questions for her? All right, thank you. Dr. Fulmer, will you please introduce our first special presentation?
I will, though Ms. Moore did a great job kind of segueing and introing our next special presentation. It is my privilege to get to invite up and introduce Mr. Chad McCollum and Ms. Brianna Parra to introduce this year's City of Clovis Youth Commission. Welcome.
I have that rolling now. Good evening, board members, and thank you for inviting us. My name is Brianna. I am your city clerk for the city of Clovis.
And I'm Chad McCollum. I'm the Economic Development, Housing, and Communications Director for the City of Clovis, and both of us have been given the fantastic responsibility and opportunity to be the city liaison with our youth commission to the city. So it's been a fantastic opportunity for us to engage with young people. Here's the obvious that we're going to point out. You just heard from one of our fantastic youth commissioners. Clovis Unified produces great kids. It's something that, right? Go ahead, Clint. There you go. Yes. We do have some of our youth commissioners here. So 10 of them are sitting right over here and one up above. Go ahead and stand up and just be recognized. So I won't make it awkward. You can sit back down. So there are 21 total youth commissioners, and Joelle pointed out the fact that this is not a free ticket. There was a very intensive process. We advertised this widely. A lot of teachers did a great job letting students know in their classrooms that this opportunity was coming. Social media, we did a news release, and got quite a bit of coverage. Interview process was quite rigorous. Wasn't easy. It wasn't a given that any of these kids who were the best of the best would make it to this point, but they did, and they did a great job through that process. So despite being very, very busy, each of these kids, in fact, probably each of the athletes that are in the audience as well, these are busy kids. They have a ton going on in their lives, scholastically, athletically, with special clubs, but they find time to be here and give it their best. They don't just show up. They show up with their polo shirts on and their name tags, and they're ready to go. The selection process is, as I mentioned, quite rigorous. It's 10th, 11th, or 12th graders who are living in the city of Clovis. This is a City of Clovis Youth Commission. But you will find that the students are quite represented well throughout each of your schools. Clovis North, University High, which is, some of our students go there from both Fresno and Clovis. We've got Clovis East, Clovis, Buchanan. What am I missing? Got your online school as well. So these are students that come from a variety of walks of life. They live in areas all throughout the city of Clovis. And Brianna, if you could just share a little bit about what they're going to be doing this year now that they've made it to this point.
Sure. But before I share what they are doing this year, a little bit about them and what they did last year was kind of our first big projects. Last year, we had a great group of children, or students, excuse me. We did our first Clovis cleanup, which we had 100 volunteers that came out and helped us clean up our rodeo. They also did mental health awareness where they spread kindness with rock painting. So hopefully, as you guys are walking around in Clovis, you guys can see little rocks with wonderful messages to encourage you to get on through your day. And this year, we have had our first meeting, and we did have a joint meeting, a subcommittee meeting with our CUSD board members and our city council, and we heard you guys. And this year, we are going to be working on 3 projects: our mental health project, our substance abuse project, particularly towards vaping, and then our e-scooter education. And how we're going to do that, we're not sure yet. We will be meeting in October. This is a student-led committee, so they will be the ones that are going to determine how we are going to do that. But I am looking forward to that project this year, and you guys will hear a lot.
Well, with that said, I don't know, are there any questions from the board? And if not, we would love to have the members come up and shake hands and introduce yourself as you come around to each of the board members and just say thank you for your service.
Yeah, I would just like to say, I am a huge supporter of this. I know when they first started talking about a few years ago, and then now having this come about, I think it's great, you know, some of the feedback from the kids. I think the projects are good. How much interaction does the adults have with the students, and how do those meetings run mainly? How much guidance do you need to give them, because they still probably need some guidance on this?
So we thought so too. We started off giving them more guidance than maybe they needed. Because as adults, that's what we want to do. We want to step in and guide. I'm a parent. I kind of feel comfortable in that role with young people. But what we learned pretty quickly is they've got their own ideas. They elected their own co-chairs, secretary. They have ad hoc committees, and they are driving the ship. Yes, we're there to make sure that there's guardrails, that the Brown Act is being followed, that they're educated on the issues that our council, that the board finds important. But these are fantastic kids, and it is a credit to your teachers, to your leadership. But they just took the ball and ran with it. So yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah.
Great job getting in.
You guys can maybe.
I gotta be. Yeah, we want to be the picture.
I know.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Both one in? You both one in?
Get in here.
You sure we should go down? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Otherwise, you're gonna look like these great big giants. I'm gonna be a giant.
We're okay up here tonight. We're okay. Yeah. Elion, this way. 3 steps. More. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, come on, Dr. Fulmer. Oh, we did a 1, 2, 3.
Okay, ready? I also do our city Facebook page. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, you know you're talking.
Oh, I know.
Okay. Dr. Fulmer, would you please introduce our last special presentation?
Yes, it is with great pride that I invite Assistant Superintendent Mr. Steve France up to introduce our spring 2025 CIF champions.
Fantastic. So President Moore, members of the board, Dr. Fulmer, Mr. Anderson, Ms. Regier, and Ms. Moore, nice seeing you. Thank you for having us here tonight to celebrate our 24-25 spring season CIF champions. Clovis Unified had another very successful spring, winning 9 track conference championships, 9 CIF section championships, 1 regional championship, and 3 CIF individual state champions, and 2 CIF relay state champions. So it was a very good spring for Clovis Unified. Overall, for the year, because we always talk about that at this meeting, we talk about the overall success of Clovis Unified for the year. Clovis Unified had a terrific year, winning 23 of 24 track conference championships, 15 CIF section championships, 1 Northern California regional championship, 2 team CIF state championships, and had 8 individual state champions and 2 relay state champions. Very, 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 very successful year for us. Also, Buchanan High School won the 24-25 Supremacy Award, winning 7 track conference championships, 7 CIF section championships, 1 regional championship, and 1 CIF state team championship. Buchanan High School will be recognized at the Clovis Unified Athletic Hall of Fame ceremony on November 1st, so I invite you all to be there for that. It's a wonderful event, and we honor our present and we honor our past at that evening, so it's a great evening. So first off, I would like to thank all these programs for their dedication and commitment to Clovis Unified. They do a fantastic job to represent our community, and we're very, very, very proud of their hard work that they've done and dedication. So with that, we're going to kick off tonight with our athletic director from Buchanan High School, Ms. Jennifer O'Mara.
Yeah, we can just spread out. There we go. Perfect. Just a little bit. There we go. Scooch. Perfect. All right, thank you. Buchanan High School enjoys tremendous support for athletics from our site administrative team headed up by Omar and Noel, to our area superintendent, Kevin Kearney, Dr. Kevin Kearney, our big bosses at the district office who are at literally pretty much every game that we have. We see them all the time. And additionally, as an athletic director, I get tremendous support directly from Steve France and my fellow athletic directors at our other school sites. So for that, I'm super appreciative. Through your policies and your presence as a board, and with the district office's help, it enables great things to happen at Buchanan High School. And so I'm here with 3 coaches who are going to spend a moment or two of your time to share with you about how their seasons have gone last spring. And so first I'd like to introduce Molly Amiko. She has been a DOS for 5 years at Buchanan, winning a track championship for the girls, a Div 2 title for boys, and this year's Div 1 CIF championship also for the boys. She is doing great work in Bear Nation, and she's here to talk a little bit about her 2025 boys team, the winners of that Division 1 CIF title. So here's Coach, I was about to say doctor. Here's Coach Molly.
Thank you so much for having us here tonight and for taking the time to recognize the accomplishments of our athletes. We had an amazing season. I have with me tonight Dempsey Garud and Celia Duplessis. We've known since these 2 guys were in 7th grade that we had something good coming up down the pipeline, and that everything they would mesh in great with the guys who were juniors and seniors when they moved up, and we'd be able to do something amazing, and we were able to do that last season. We were 19-4 on the season. One of those losses to a very good team from Arizona, actually, who played in our tournament that we host, where we have 72 schools come from Arizona, Nevada, and all over the state of California to play. So we played in Division 1 of that, and one of our losses to one of those teams, which was a very good team. These guys, Dempsey played about 50 matches for us over the season, and he won 75% of those matches. He finished top 4 in league in individuals, and also top 4 in area, and top 4 in sectionals in individual singles. And Slier played 49 matches, and he had a 94% win rate in his matches. He and his doubles partner that entered our doubles individuals, they finished first in league, top 4 in area, because that's all we go to is top 4. We don't play that out. And then they finished first in sectionals, which is the highest that you can go in tennis. We don't go beyond sectionals for individuals. So they did win the highest honor that they can in our sport. They also were the undisputed #1 seeds in all of those tournaments. So across the section, he and his partner, Bryce, who was our team captain, but he's graduated and he's in college. So Lear's here on his own to represent that. But they, across the section, uncontested amongst all the coaches, that they were the best doubles team out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Alrighty, so volleyball is headed up by Coach John Jay. He has 15 league titles in boys and girls, 13 CIF titles, and they did add the NorCal Regional Championship this year to their collection of championships. Coach Jonathan Trevino is here to share a little bit about their season.
First off, thank you, board, for allowing us to be here. I want to honor my returning captain here, Cole Harrelson. He's a 3-year varsity starter. He's one of the main reasons this last season was so successful. It was a fun season. It started out just incredible. We put the #1 team in the country on the ropes, took them to 3 in their home tournament, in their home gym. And from there, we kind of knew this team was special and they had a lot of ability. Made it all the way to the Valley title game where we lost to a very talented Clovis East squad back there in 5 in a thriller. And that pushed us to make a state run that got us a NorCal title. We are the first school to win both a Southern and Northern regional title here. And then we were the first school to ever play in the first boys state volleyball championship game, where we came up just a little short, but it was an incredible run. And it was a huge testament to just these boys here who just fight and grind all year long to get better. And we're coming back this year. So again, thank you.
And then finally, no stranger to the podium for championships, I've got Coach Brian Weaver. He has now added 37 track and field league titles, 28 track and field CIF titles, 37 track and field, 37 track, there we go, league titles, 28 track and field CIF titles, 1 state title. He's a Crystal Award winner, a fantastic person, a mentor coach to his colleagues. Pretty humble guy. He doesn't like to hear all of that, but it's been a pleasure working with him as a colleague, as an AD and a coach. He's a fantastic resource for me as well. So I'd like to introduce Brian Weaver, who's going to chat a little bit about their track and field season. Here you go.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I first want to thank the board and especially Clovis Unified, what they did for this year's state track and field championships. There were some things that came up that I truly believe that without Clovis Unified, that meet would have not been the success that it truly was. It was absolutely impressive how Clovis Unified came together and what they did, and I truly commend what all these people behind me and the administrators and what they did, and I really do thank you. We were very fortunate to have the head of the NFHS track and field committee. She came out with the chair, and they said that it's unbelievable what we do here in California. It's the best track and field meet that they've ever seen across the country. And that really is a testament to Clovis Unified and everyone that's involved in that. So I really do thank you for that. It was a challenging event, but it was truly, truly remarkable this year. I have 2 amazing athletes here with me. Carson Van Grau. He is a senior this year. Last year he competed in the state meet in the discus and did exceptionally well, earning a medal. And then we have Lauren Jones here, another senior. Lauren competed in the state meet in the relay team. These are two of our 204 athletes that are on our track and field team that come to practice every single solitary day. And the determination that these two young athletes have is exactly what we want from Clovis Unified athletes. And they live up to the standard that Clovis Unified places on them and my standards, which are very challenging, as Dr. Fulmer knows. But look where she turned out. She did okay. But it's been remarkable with these two young athletes. I really appreciate it. Our team had tremendous success this year in the league and in the section. And our boys team finished dual meet rankings. They were 4th in the country, and our girls finished 8th in the country in dual meet rankings. So pretty exceptional what these young athletes did. So thank you.
All right, next up will be from Clovis East High School, Athletic Director, Mr. Jeff Vogt.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, board members, for the incredible support, district administration, and of course, the Clovis East Area Administration. We're so grateful for your support. I've got with me tonight 2 amazing athletic programs that I'm very excited to talk a little bit about. So I'm proud to recognize the players and the director of sport for Clovis East Volleyball from last year. This team had an amazing season. It was an amazing story. The boys finished the season with a fantastic record. Coach will talk about that in just a moment. These athletes were led by our interim director of sport, Nico Oro, who was not planning on being the head coach. But he had a very special reason to lead these boys for one very important season. The season was successful in terms of a volleyball journey, but it was also a journey for all of us where we learned lifelong lessons about commitment, love, support, and family. I'd like you to hear from Nico Oro.
Yeah, Vogt couldn't have said it any better, but first I'd just like to thank the board for their continuous support for our program, and the success wouldn't be possible without the backing and the resources you guys have given us for, however many years that we've been in there. I would also like to recognize a few players who have had a large positive influence in our program. They're 4 years being with us. So you got Logan Vang right here, and then Michael Yang and Jared Cooper. These guys just demonstrate great character, and I couldn't be more proud of them. Just being involved with them, they're 4 years. I'm not a super old coach, so I see these guys in a space where I understand where they're coming from, and they did really good in the situation that we were in. The season, I think we finished overall 27-12 in our record, and then 7-3 in the track, and just happened to make a good playoff run, winning the Valley Championship and making it to the regional state championship. Not much to say there, and all the credit just goes to my dad who brought the program to where it is today, and I really didn't have to do much for these guys to do great. They already knew what we needed to do in this season, and just really glad that it worked out. Dad, before the season started, he was very confident in this group of guys. He really had full belief in them, just telling me before the season even started, I think that we're going to win it. I don't really have any doubts that we're not going to win, and I'm just really glad that we were able to prove them right. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach. I would also like to recognize the athletes and the director of sport for Clovis East Badminton. This team had an undefeated 16-0 season, resulting in both a track and central section title. This is the 4th consecutive year that the program has accomplished this. Our director of sport, Janine Soderson, has coached 17 years at Clovis East, where she has quite a bit of success. But I think maybe even more important are the opportunities and positive impact that this important program has provided for so many Clovis East students. Janine Soderson.
Thank you to our somewhat new AD, Jeff. You know he's doing a great job when he has to put up with me. And thank you to the board members and administrators for having us here tonight. The Clovis East badminton program has quietly become a force. This year we had an individual singles player and 2 doubles teams placed at both the track and the CIF, and we brought home our first ever 4-peat CIF championship. 2 of our athletes, Carissa Magana on the far left and Avery Mua, who is also our team captain, are a perfect example of that growth. After playing junior varsity badminton for 2 years, they've now placed in the track and CIF individuals and been part of 2 CIF championship teams. You'd think winning the CIF would be our big celebration, but right after winning, we had to take pictures at lightning speed because everyone was rushing to the West Gym to see the boys volleyball team win their section title. I was about to start cleaning the gym when I realized there were only 2 people that were left in the gym. And I'm pretty sure they were waiting for AAU basketball. But that's us, quiet, successful, humble, and always working. These girls train year-round, and that commitment has made Clovis East Badminton one of the most successful programs on campus. So here's to this team: passion, power, hustle, and yes, the occasional 2-person audience. On a side note, this is the last title I will win before our family friend of 45 plus years, Norm Anderson, retires. And I just want to say a quick few words about him. I've known Norm since way back when he was a skinny, dorky tennis player who could barely keep his socks up. Who would have thought that kid would grow into a coach, teacher, administrator, and now our assistant superintendent? And yes, an adamant cycle bar rider. If you'd told me back then, I probably would have laughed harder than I did at his backhand. But that's exactly what he did. He became the epitome of what an educator should be: dedicated, compassionate, and committed to making Clovis Unified better for every student, staff member. For me, he's always been like a brother, sometimes competitive, sometimes maddening, but always someone I admired. And today, I couldn't be prouder to celebrate his career. So congratulations, Norm. You'll leave an incredible mark, and now you've got all the time in the world to spin those cycle bar pedals, maybe even fix that backhand, or maybe even take up badminton. You'll be missed, Norm. Thank you.
Okay, and next up is the athletic director from Clovis North High School, Mr. Rob Streeter.
Thank you, Steve. On behalf of the Clovis North Area Superintendent Darren Taki and our Ed Center Principal, Dr. Joshua Shapiro, we'd like to thank the Governing Board and the Clovis Unified dignitaries for creating this platform today to celebrate the accomplishments of not just these 3 programs, but for all of our programs that are in here tonight. It's truly remarkable what Clovis Unified does. And if I may take a moment to kind of build upon the words of my friend Brian Weaver back here, of talking about the amazing accomplishments, not only for the state track meet, our state swim meet, but all of the other multiple events that are hosted at Clovis Unified that truly just blow the socks off of our opponents coming in from out of the area, such as the San Ramon Valley that we just hosted last weekend, and their compliments of what it is that our district, you guys, have provided for them and for our students is truly remarkable and needs to be acknowledged. So thank you guys for providing that for all of our students and our communities. With the 3 programs that are up here tonight, they are not new to this meeting. Every one of these programs were here last year as well. We do have one newcomer that is joining the stage, and I'll let Coach Brazil announce him as another state champion. But all 3 of these programs are returning. They are either section champions or state runner-up, but that in itself is quite an incredible accomplishment to go back-to-back. The first program I'd like to recognize is our boys golf program. Mr. Everson is in he's back-to-back, and he's not only our boys and girls director, but something he would never share with you guys is he is also our department chair in our special ed department, which is quite a monumental task in itself. So with that being said, Jordan Everson.
Good evening, Dr. Fulmer, Mr. Anderson, members of the board. It is my pleasure to be here once again in front of you guys to celebrate our Clovis North Bronco boys golf team. I have 2 incredible individuals in front of me tonight, different from last year. Last year, the 2 individuals that I had come up are now graduated. One is off playing at the University of Arizona for golf, and the other is at SMU, achieving high academic honors and doing his thing there, having a lot of fun. I talk to him all the time. He's having a great time, but he's doing well in college too. So, and then I also have one senior as well who was not with us last year, Mr. Anson Trent. I just wanted to mention him as well. He's off playing at the University of Yale for golf. So these gentlemen right here, Mr. Jack Bolt and Devesh Sidhu, they have quite the shoes to fill. They're juniors currently, but I have so much faith in them, in their ability to be leaders amongst a very young Clovis North golf team this year. Both of them have stepped up in huge capacities from minute 1 as freshmen and then also as sophomores this last season. They did an incredible job, and they're a part of an incredible golf team. We started our season in Santa Maria where we shot a tied for team record 11 under par and blitzed the field by 43 strokes, so these gentlemen can golf their golf ball. Just want to say, once again, these gentlemen are incredible. Jack, want to say a few words about him. We have a lot of good golf conversations on the golf course. He really appreciates the coaching that I have to offer. He's always asking me for advice. We share good conversations, and he's always shooting really low scores. And I have Mr. Devesh, who is an amazing golfer in his own right, too. He's kind of my Mr. Reliable in that I don't have to coach him a whole lot. I can just kind of leave him. And then he's like, Coach, yep, a lot of pars, made a lot of pars, and shoots a lot of rounds right around even. So really incredible gentleman here. Really quick, our season, as I said, we started off hot, and we kind of continued that. We won track for, I believe it was 3 out of 4 these last couple of years. 4 for 4. So we won track these last 4 years in a row, and then back-to-back at Valleys. In fact, our Valley Championship was probably our hardest fight. We had an absolute dogfight with Stockdale High School out at Arroyo Grande, and we ended up coming out on top, I believe, by 2 strokes. And then we continued that success, and we played really, really well at the Southern California Golf Championships. We were one of the 6 teams that really had a legitimate chance to win that thing. It was an incredible thing to watch all day. Once again, these 2 guys, they are young, but I have the utmost confidence in being captains and team leaders, not only with the golf that they play, but also by the actions and the words that they'll provide for the rest of the team for this season and next. So just want to say thanks, guys.
The next person we'll bring up to the mic, you might all recognize her. She was the introducer. She introduced Sue Inquist at General Session a month and a half ago. She is beginning her 16th year as the director of sport at Clovis North, and she the last few years, and she'll be quick to say it's been a struggle for her. She's an off-campus coach with all the trials and tribulations that brings with her. But their season was a tremendous success. They really turned it on at the second half, and especially in playoffs. Unfortunately, I didn't get to be there on that last pitch, but Miss Courtney Dale.
Hi, I'd like to thank the governing board for having us here tonight to celebrate our success, and congratulations to all the coaches and players in this room and the programs. It's not a challenge, it's just you helped me out, Rob, being off campus. I'd like to thank our administration too for their hard work, and our custodial staff and our grounds people that keep our field looking awesome all the time. It is hard to win one championship. It's even difficult to win back-to-back. Everybody's aiming for you, and having that Clovis Unified on your back, everybody wants to take you down. And these girls right here led us from the beginning. We had a mission, and we worked towards it every day. We faced a little adversity and some hiccups along the way, but we definitely came out on top, and they kept fighting. I'm really proud of how they have led our team, and taken the younger kids under their wing and embraced them with our culture and what we're trying to teach as a coaching staff every day and every season. I always say it's a marathon, not a sprint, and you have to break the season up into 3 parts: preseason, the track, which is the dogfight, and then be playing at your best at the end, and that's a testament to them. They rise to the occasion. They love playing postseason, so it makes it a lot of fun to coach and a lot of fun to watch. I have Zoe Thomas right here. She's our third baseman. She's 33 years first team all-track since her freshman year. She had some big shoes to fill last year with Kiara Sipe graduating, but she stepped in there and never looked back. She is a leader on the field and led our team in quite a few offensive categories. Zoe just committed to play softball next fall at San Diego State, so we're really excited about that, celebrate that. Our pitcher, Jocelyn Gonzalez, she's 2-time first team all track and was player of the year her sophomore year. I had a little challenge for her this year. I'm like, you're player of the year last year, so how are we gonna get better this year? And she rose to that challenge, and she got better, and started learning how to throw different pitches and set up batters, and it was really fun to watch, and I was really proud of you, how you took that challenge on. So we're back at it in October to hopefully be back at Bulldog Diamond in May, and thank you for your support and appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Dale. And then last but certainly not least will be our track and field director of sport. And what can I say about Coach Brazil? That he is he is such an integral part to not just to our track program, but to our entire campus. He does a tremendous job for us, and I can't say enough great things about him. As a director of sport, his struggles, he's only got another one on-campus coach that is on his staff, which just makes his job that much more increasingly difficult to do. But he handles it with grace and has been back-to-back state runner-up on the last race of a state track meet 2 years in a row, which is, it's just incredible. But Coach Rich Brazil.
Thank you, Streeter. Thank you, everybody, for having us again tonight. Tonight I have Connor Lott here with us. He's the senior this year. Last year as a junior, had a tremendous season. Started off in the fall. He's our distance specialist. He won the state cross-country championship in November. Went down to Southern California and qualified for the Foot Locker Nationals. So his season went into postseason into late December, mid-December. Took a little bit of a break, and then just came back even stronger and better for the spring season. As you well know, we have a tremendous league here and for track and field and just in the Valley. It's Survive and Advance. Our league championship is the best league in the state. If you look at performances at our league championship, there's no other league in the state that can compare to us. So my hat's off to my sister schools and how hard they push each coach each year to get better, and our own athletes. Connor, like I said, he's a 1,600 meter runner, he's an 800 meter runner, and he's a 3,200 meter runner. And if I find something else, he'll run that too. He's tremendous. He's a lot of fun to watch. He competes like no other. This past spring in the state championship, came out and, like I said, survived Friday, came out on Saturday, and it's anybody's day on Saturday if you can get to that line. And he took off, and he won a state title in the 1,600 meters with the third fastest time ever in the state meet history, and the fastest time in the last 14 years. So I'm super proud of Connor and everything he accomplished last year. Looking forward to this year. He's already off to a strong start in cross country, and just recently committed to Georgetown to continue his education and athletic career at Georgetown. So Connor Lott, thank you. Just want to touch real quick on one other athlete. He's not with us anymore, but four-time state champion McKay Matson. It was a tremendous career. I think the highlight for the state meet was Connor was coming around the about 150 to go, and McKay's warming up for the state championship for the shot put. He drops his shot down, and he's screaming at Connor and just telling him to go. Connor was so locked in, laser focused, so I don't even think he noticed McKay screaming in his face as he went by, but it was a really cool experience. McKay went down in the history books as, in my opinion, and a lot of other people, the greatest combo thrower in the state history. He was awarded the Cal High Sport Athlete of the Year. He's our third student athlete in Clovis Unified to win that, and then he was also, he won the Gatorade Player of the Year too. So tremendous athlete, tremendous young man, and super excited to see him in a couple years when he gets back from his mission. So thank you, everybody.
Okay, and last school, Clovis West High School, Mr. Neil Castro.
All right, thank you to the board and Dr. Fulmer and Mr. Anderson, and also to Mr. France and my area superintendent, Dr. Belknap, and my principal, Mr. James, just for their support. And I survived year one as AD, and year two is a little easier. I can breathe a little bit. So Jeff, vote, it does get better. Yeah. First of all, just thank you so much for, I know people have talked about our facilities in Clovis Unified, and we have a pretty nice swim complex. And I'm going to get in trouble for saying that a Buchanan coach is pretty awesome, but what Coach Weaver, Coach Reed, and Coach Tenney do with back-to-back weeks of CIF meets and state championships, and then they go on and coach just great performances and have great teams and great success. These guys are amazing. As an AD going through it, I was losing my mind, and I couldn't imagine going out and coaching and doing what they do. So first up, we have here tonight both our CIF champion boys and girls swim and dive teams, and we have some state champions on the relay. So further ado, I'll give it to Coach Reed and the girls.
Thanks, Mr. Castro. Thank you, board, for having us here. I guess we're the anchor leg right now, and so I know, Brian, it's not hard, right? It's easy at this point. It's so easy. I do want to thank our Clovis West admin team. So specifically, we put on 3 huge meets throughout the year. We do our CW invite in April to kind of like lead in and test kind of what we need to do for state and CIF. We do the CIF section meet, and then we do the state meet. And it is a lot of work and a lot of man hours that specifically our Clovis West admin and staff and support teams really put a lot of hours in, and it makes it easy at this point. Like, we're getting really good at it, so I don't have to worry about too much, and then I can focus on these girls and the team. I also want to thank Steve France, who leads our CIF state advisory committee, and he doesn't get enough credit with how that meet has developed into the top state meet in the country. And he's always been very supportive, and I really appreciate all that he does in our meetings and kind of setting up and just making it first class, which is the Clovis Unified Way. With that, I'll kind of get into our team. I have 4 young ladies here today. Recap, we won our 3rd CIF section title in a row. We went undefeated in dual meets. It is our 32nd section CIF title in our program history, which is a pretty big number on the girls' side. At state, we finished 6th place. All 3 of our relays podiums, which means they medaled. In our NISCA dual meet rankings, we ended up 15th place for our large public schools, which is a big deal because we compete against a lot of private schools here in California that are at the top. So we did really, really well there. All 3 of our relays ended up All-American nationally. Audrey Hill, who's here with us, I'll talk about in a little bit. Sophia Okafeder and Haley Marinovich were all individual All-Americans. We had 3 individual All-Americans, and then we had all 3 relays, which was pretty special this year. So with me, I have, I'm going to start with my seniors. So I have Genevieve Stevens over here. She is a senior returning captain. She is one of our divers. She is currently looking at several schools for diving and doing some trips. And she was a medalist at the section championships. And next to her is Audrey Hill, one of my other seniors. She is a returning captain. She is committed to swim at Washington State University next year, which is really exciting. Excited to see her go up there. She is a 4-time state qualifier. She is our team record holder. She is a state medalist. She is on multiple team relay records. And she's kind of what the epitome of what my team is about. We are fortunate enough that we can get 3 relays in, and then she swims on 2 relays at our section meet, and then we drop an individual event to let our relays score points because they're double points at the state level. So it helps our team really perform, and she sacrifices an individual event to then help the team out. And she's done that every year since she's been going to state, and it's always like, what do you think? What do you want? And she's just like, whatever the team needs. And so, being her senior year, she's just been such a team player, and we're just so excited to see her in her senior year. I also have Bailey Ashton right here. She is another one of our divers, and she is a medalist at the section level. She also is our team record holder in our Frosh Soft, so she's real close to those varsity records, so we'll see now kind of she was only a couple points away from those, but just tremendous. It's special to have 2 divers. We put a lot of pride in swimming and diving program. Many of our championships that we've won were specifically because of our divers that have continually placed points. It's kind of like if you talk to track and field, it's like if you got a great thrower, man, does that set you up for success, right? And so just really proud of Bailey for doing just an amazing job this last year. And then last but not least, we have Zyla Radford. She was a freshman last year. She's a sophomore this year. She was an individual state qualifier as a freshman, and she was also on our 4x1 relay that medaled at state. And so we're really excited. We have returned most of our team that finished 6th last year, and with all those medals, and we're excited for this year. And 2 of our state relay swimmers are playing water polo right now. They're in the water at our amazing facility playing Clovis High. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for the support of not just track and field and swimming, but also our cross-country state meets. I'm sure you hear it, but the coaches and the community really, really appreciate what Clovis Unified does to put on such a great event, and we couldn't do it without your guys' support. So thank you so much for all you guys do.
All right, next up, our boys DOS CIF champions, but Coach Tenney will probably talk about his relay state championship finishes, some amazing finishes. So, Coach Tenney.
So with me tonight, I have Silas Marin and Tobin Reed, both of whom were on those 4x50 and 4x1 state-winning relays. Unfortunately, we were unable to win that 3rd relay, that medley relay. We missed out by getting first by 2/100ths of a second. It's still the best that any school has done at the state meet as far as getting almost all 3 relays to win. So again, even though we were not on the top of the podium, we got second place. So it's still a great way to finish. Not here tonight is Stanley Oka. He's also playing water polo tonight against Clovis High. And Jake Salcedo, he is at West Virginia University continuing his swim and educational career over there. Before we get going, I wanted to thank a couple people. I want to thank our principal, Jason James, deputy principal, Matt Loggins, and athletic director Neil Castro for their constant support of the Clovis West Swim and Dive team. I also wanted to thank our area superintendent, Dr. Belknap, and the rest of the district admin, as well as governing board, for providing us the opportunities for our student athletes to be successful and compete at a high level. And also wanted to thank Adam. I know I don't thank him enough, but again, I've always viewed him as a mentor from when he was my coach in 7th grade and 8th grade, as well as Clovis West. So again, didn't mean to age him a little bit, but again, I can't thank him enough for all the planning meetings we've had at lunch, at his house. Again, just time outside of the pool deck, just helping our program be as good as it can be. Again, this year was a really special year for our boys team. We had one goal in mind, was that to bring back a championship for our boys team. It's been almost 10 years since our boys team won back in 2016. So that was our main goal going into this year, was to have that championship back. So the big part of that was we had a really big senior class. That big senior class did a big role in all coming back and being a part of that team. I know we get a lot of the recognition from the individual champions and then the relays for the state meet, but again, that senior class and that big junior class is a really big reason of why we're in this position that we are. Similar to what Adam said with having a couple of our swimmers only swim one individual in all 3 relays, all 4 of our boys that were on those relays did the same thing. So a big sacrifice came from a lot of those boys that were on the relays at the section meet, but then weren't on it at the state meet, because again, they knew for our boys to be able to be as successful as we could be at the state level, that some of them would have to help us get there, but wouldn't be able to compete. And again, that just shows the commitment to the team and the team championship that they had, that they were willing to step back and let these boys swim in all 3 relays and to be able to get as many points as we did. So finishing second at the state level was something that at the beginning of the season, I won't say we didn't think it was possible, but it's not something that we had on our radar. Again, obviously our main goal was the Valley Championship, so to have that second place state finish was, again, a huge accomplishment. Kind of some of the other accomplishments we had on more of the national level. The boys placed 7th on the NISCA national dual meet, as well as 5th place among large public schools for the Swimming World Magazine National High School Championship. So again, really successful year for them. We also had 5 varsity records broken. All 3 relays, the medley relay, the 4x1, and the 4x50, all of which are also section records as well. 2 individual records as well. 3 individuals. Tobin Reed in the 100 free, Stanley Oka in the 100 fly, and then Jake Salcedo in the 500, which he broke a 32-year-old record from Chris Rumley, who swam at Michigan and was also on the national team. So that was a huge win and a huge accomplishment for him and for us as a team. So like I said, again, our main goal was to win a Valley Championship this year. And again, because of these boys and their commitment to this team, and as well as that senior class, again, we were able to pull that off. So again, I just wanted to thank you all for, again, this recognition for all these boys' hard work and the hours and the thousands of yards of swimming that they do every single year to be able to get to that opportunity. So thank you, guys.
President Moore, could I just make a quick comment? I know my fellow board members have heard this before, and I know you athletic directors have heard this before, and the admin. And I can't really say it without getting emotional because it really just hits home for me, but thank you for what you do for our athletes. And you also gave us so much thanks for our support. Of course, we support you, but we couldn't provide the facilities we couldn't support the facilities that we have if it weren't for our community that supports Clovis Unified building facilities. So I'm grateful for our community that sees the value in that, because our kids have home court advantage for a lot of these great championships, and that's worth a lot. And to you athletic directors who are at so many games, and you head coaches that are at everything, you spend more time with our kids than we do as parents. So thank you for being good human beings who are teaching our kids to hopefully contribute and be good human beings as well. So thank you.
And I just want to say congratulations to your son, Tiffany. That was a very beautiful expression of appreciation for what he added to the program and all the wonderful awards that he won. So you should be a very proud mama.
Thank you. He couldn't have done it without the support of people out there. So
I was just going to say, I don't think we can thank our coaches and our athletic directors enough. So thank you, Tiffany, for saying it. Every year, every season, we need to just make sure we're sharing how appreciative we are as a board, I think, but as parents as well. So thank you, guys. Thank you, Tiffany. Does anybody else have anything else to say? We'll let our students go home. You have homework, I'm sure, maybe tired from practices. Thank you, guys, for being here. Ready? All right. It's always fun to see how many people come to see us, guys. All right.
That's a good reminder.
All right. It's now time for public presentations. This time is reserved for individuals who may wish to address the board regarding a matter that is not included on the agenda. Please note that because the items brought up by the public during this time are not on the agenda, per the Brown Act, the board may not discuss or act upon such items. And I do not believe we have any comments or public presentations this evening. We will move along to our staff report. I think we all received the annual 2025 summer school report in our agenda materials. Does anybody have any questions or comments about the report?
I had a couple of questions. Our Avid Intermediate Bridge Academy, how are students identified to be a part of that?
It's a great question. I'll go ahead and invite Assistant Superintendent Aaron Ware up to the podium to answer those questions. I imagine the process is very similar to what we do for summer school. Those that we think the extra work and attention can, bolster some study skills and skills that they can use in the classroom to help them be effective, but I'll let her clarify.
Yes, they for all of our programs, they're recommended by teachers through their PLC process.
Okay. Stay there because I have a couple more questions. Let's see. The curriculum survey, the quality of curriculum survey that was at the end of the presentation, I assume this data covered all of our summer school programs? So it mentioned that there were 14 responses that fell into the not effective at all. Are we able to identify which specific programs that's referring to?
Yes, as soon as summer school is over, we begin planning for the next year. And so the teams that work together to plan the curriculum and the resources that we use also, after they look at the survey feedback, they will talk with teachers that they've worked with during the planning time and then see where adjustments need to be made for the next year.
So we know those specific 14 responses, we know what program their student was in so that we know
Yes.
what to target,
Yes.
I guess is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Two quick things. I just wanted to thank the summer school team for the online original credit options for students. For my family in particular, it was really helpful. In June, we have a lot of church camps and things, and so committing to come every Tuesday or Wednesday is a challenge. And so an online option really worked well for my student this year, and I know that there were several, a couple hundred, I think it said, or a little over 100 that benefited from that.
Yes,
so
we had a lot of students all of our students were successful in summer school with the online curriculum.
Okay, yeah, so thank you for providing that. Yeah, and then maybe this is something we can talk about more in the subcommittee, but one of the responses that I read for feedback was to reconsider the absence policy at the secondary level. So maybe we could explore
Perfect.
what that
I'll put that down at a
look
future
like.
meeting.
And I know we've been doing it a long time, and we have reasons why we have that policy, but maybe there's something to explore there.
No
Thank
problem.
I had just one question. I was just noticing on the enrollment that the CTE enrollment went down. Do you know why that was? Or?
Yes, that's a great question. A couple of different reasons we're going to explore even further, but one, we had an increase in our AVID enrollment by about 100 for the same age. And then also, each year we don't have the same offerings for CTE each year, depending upon facility use, teacher availability. This year we had 150 spots and just over 100 students filling them. But again, we will look to try to fill that to capacity next year with the courses that are offered.
So you just keep track of the data, so maybe you can offer the ones that are more popular? Or?
That is part of it, and we really strive to find teachers who can teach each year with the really popular programs, yes.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Well, thank you for that report. And we will move on to our consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as submitted.
So move.
Any discussion or questions?
Yeah, I just want to make a clarification. Tiffany, you were asking me about that 90 million, all that. If those that have gone through you see some of the change orders look huge. If you really look at that, what that is actually, Tiffany, that is the entire budget for that amount. The actual change order on the particular one you mentioned is zero. The actual change in the amount. Is that right? We're reading that right. So we were talking about how we read that. Because on the note, it was saying that the total contract was 90 million, but the actual change order was zero. Did we read that?
I try to understand the lease back.
Yeah, so great question, and it's a real question. So I appreciate that. So I will say a couple of things. If you have a direct question, call me so I can sit down and go over it. I don't know exactly which one this one is. But when we have
change order 01, that's just what she was referring to as.
Just in general.
So I did a few months ago for our subcommittee, I did a presentation on how to read a change order.
Yeah.
That might be worth if we get out to the entire board, because there's many ways to look at it, and each one is broken down into 4 different categories. And leaseback is one in and of itself. So when we do a leaseback, we have what's called a GMP, or a guaranteed maximum price. So when you see the change order, it will say amount of change order is 0, but then below that will be a price of what it costs to do that work. That's what we paid to do that, but we've already allocated dollars to cover that work in the price. So when we agreed on the contract with Harris, we agreed on what the total price of the job would be. We have a separate account, if you will, that we charge against for that. That's our contingency. So every project we do has a contingency amount, but when we do leaseback, we agree on that maximum price. It won't go over that. We charge against it, if that makes sense. But I can go over
individual ones with you, because depending on the change order, there are some large ones. Keep in mind, this project is larger than any one that we've ever done, so it's all in comparison. Our standard rule is that if a change order is over 2% of the budget, then that's when we have conversations with our contractor team and or our architect teams to go over where the miss was and what happens. And sometimes, especially on a project of this size, there are some large ones. Sometimes it's agency required, where an outside agency that has to approve our plans dictates that we do that. This, I believe this in particular one, we had planned on paying for, so we did work going forward because we had a timeline to keep, and we knew we were going to change order that work back into the project. So it was an order, sometimes it's done in order to keep the schedule.
Okay, so if it says, let's say 40 million, but then it says 0 for,
Yeah, I will tell you, if we have a change order for 40 million, I need to.
were there,
to
I'm
leave.
not
That's-
a change order, but
That's the amount of the contract.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so
it'll
the
say
change order amount,
0% of lease, 0% amount, say 35,000 paid out of leaseback contingency, but it'll give you the total contract price, because every increment that we do, some increments on TBEC, one was 116 million for that scope of work. So every time we have a change order, if it's increment 5, that scope of work was $116 million. If we have a change order for 50,000, then it'll tell you 0% or $0, but it paid 50,000 out of leaseback contingency.
so basically we're not going that much over budget.
That's correct.
That's the bottom question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so think
That's
of
the
it,
real
when,
question,
when you do a
Denver.
project at your house, you have a budget, and then you have a how much you can spend
Like a
on
slush?
unforeseens or
Okay.
whatever.
Okay.
So we have that, we put a percentage of the budget in as a contingency.
Okay.
Anytime you're building a new school, and anytime you're working on an old school, right? When we do work at Clovis West, we know that that's the gift that keeps on giving. And there's old things in the ground, and we're going to find things that aren't on any set of as-built. And so we always build a contingency in. It's all part of our planning and budgeting process.
And I correct that, there wasn't one for 42 million. But there were large numbers.
There
And
are
I was
large
trying to add
numbers.
them up, trying to make sense of it.
Well,
Thank
you got the ornamental fence for 85,000, which was an add-on that along Fowler, right? So-
That is correct.
Yeah, so that's a large number. And then you had one that was $27,000 credit to us. But I do want to say, I appreciate you, Tiffany, going through those numbers, because many times the consent agenda, I wonder who actually, how many times we get the time to look through that. So just you questioning it makes me more confident that the board members are reviewing that, asking questions, because that's our responsibility, and then getting clarification. We have the advantage of being in the subcommittee, so we see a lot of these before they come to the board. So, and those that aren't the subcommittee don't, so I do appreciate all of us taking time to look through the consent agenda, because, I may not look at all the trips that they're going on like I used to, so, and I agree with them all, but we still approve them, right? Because we go through a lot of trips on this consent agenda. But thank you for that explanation.
Thanks, Denver.
I have one, what I was just kind of a comment and then a question. I was going through this like at midnight last night. So what you're saying is the ones where it's $0 or whatever, those are the leaseback ones?
Well, every change order, right now, the only leaseback job we have is for TBEC. So it will say that on the change order.
Because I'd noticed, and again, I might have accidentally skipped over, I didn't see the large one you were talking about, so maybe you could tell us about that one. But what I had noticed is you always put what was the previous cost, and then you put what's the change. And so I've noticed on a lot of them, the change was not, it was only a few $1,000s on a lot of them. But then the ones towards the bottom said $0. So those are the ones I think she was asking about. That's what I was confused about. So.
I think
So-
what I would,
So looking at this, if I can help, because I actually have it in front of me.
Okay.
The $0 means it's not above the contingency. So it says $0 is being changed. It gives you the amount and designates in the language when you read it, it's coming out of that contingency. So
So
we're
there's no
not
change?
changing the overall budget is what they're indicating, but they're helping us keep track of all the changes that have occurred within the set budget we have and
We're
where
not
it's
changing the
going.
contract price.
Correct.
The
Thank you,
contract price
sorry.
is guaranteed.
Okay, and then the ones where it actually said this was the original cost, and then it's like plus $2,000, the new cost, that's just the change.
Yeah, so any project that we do that's not lease back doesn't have a guaranteed maximum price. We have a contract price that comes in via bids, and then if there's a cost to that, we pay that cost. Same thing, every project that we do, we have a set contingency amount that we budget that we won't go over. And so even if it's $5,000, even if it's $50,000, it's all relative to what the budget is, and it depends on what the cost of the project is. We still, that's one of the things that I do, is we ensure that we won't go over that amount.
Okay, and then just off the top of your head, if you remember, because like I said, I was skimming through them, and I didn't see any large changes, but you referenced one.
Yeah,
What's the
I
largest
just
change
went
we
through
had?
change orders for the whole job today, so I've got big numbers on my mind, so I don't remember off the top of my
How
head.
about the fence along Fowler? You wanna
Yeah,
tell
fence
us
along
about that?
Fowler is a different situation completely. $85,000, Dr. Fogg said. $85,000 was a change order to put the ornamental fence in on Fowler Avenue. Then through
That was required
conversations.
by the city,
Through
right?
conversations with the city of Clovis.
That's over by Hirayama?
No, it's right here across the street at the
Okay.
Fowler campus. So to be clear, was not required by the city of Clovis to put that fence in. But we were required by the city of Clovis to put the drainage basin that butts up to Fowler Avenue, that's full of river rock. Steve France came and said, listen, I want to be responsible. I think we should put a fence in to protect the rocks from the street, right? Because kids are kids, and when you have kids that walk by there, what could we do? We worked with the city. They required us, if we were going to put a fence in, they required that it be ornamental. We couldn't put chain link fence in, even though all down Fowler Avenue, there's chain link fences to match. Because it's in a city area, they said, no, it needs to be ornamental. The cost of that fence was $85,000. When we got ready to do that and we submitted it, the city said, actually, there's an easement there that belongs to FID, so you can't put the fence on the edge of the concrete. It needs to be 20 feet outside of that 20-foot easement, which puts it in the middle of that basin. It doesn't make sense to have a fence that's in the middle of the basin that essentially does no good. The city's conversation back to me was, well, you can buy some landscape glue and glue the rocks in place. And so we were at an impasse, which we ultimately chose to not put the fence in. We received a credit for $27,000 back on that for various work that was going to have to go in. We now own that fence that we will use on another project. So we won't let it go to waste. We paid for it up front because in order to keep the project going, and we had what we were trying to do, it was a change in that process.
So then what did you decide to do with the rocks?
The rocks are where they are, and they are exactly like we put them down in the first place.
Okay, so no glue?
They're not glued, no. No fence, no glue. So they are.
Plenty of pretty fence, huh?
They are just there, but we will use the fence on other projects. Yep.
Thank you, Denver. Okay, did we have a second? We had a motion and a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that'll carry. Our action agenda, 01. I'll entertain a motion to approve the new job description for translator as submitted.
So moved.
Andy says any nominations, but I think it means any discussion.
No,
Yeah. Oh,
Go ahead.
No, I just had a question, because about, this is going to be like a completely new position?
Yeah.
Come on up, Mr. Shea, if you want, but yes, it will be a new position.
This position is going to help offset the work that is done from some of our translators that are working on a time-sheeted timeframe when it's away from work. We've done a cost analysis. This is actually going to be a cost savings to the district, but it will be a full-time translator that will work throughout the day, focusing on Spanish translation that can be done during the work hours, utilized throughout the district, but it will be a cost savings.
Is it just one position?
One
or-
position.
And so they'll rotate through the district, or?
It'll work throughout the district, correct?
Okay.
How close are we to needing, you can stay, Barry, if you want. How close are we to needing another translator for another language commonly spoken, like Punjabi or Hmong? How close are we needing to a
We're
full-time
probably
position?
closer than we think, but we currently can absorb within the work and the staff that we have currently, but that will be an analysis that we do on an annual basis or an as-needed basis. But this was one that our CI&A team worked with business services and found this really is a necessary opportunity to support our sites, our district, our community. We will continue to take a look as our populations continue to grow and make sure that we have the resources available.
Thank you.
So Barry, my main concern, I think, in hospitals everywhere, they do have translators. They're moving away from personnel and going to electronics, and I mean, even the new, AirPods have live translate. There's a lot of programs that are live translate. Why are we thinking that a live person would be better than some of the new technology that is continuing to progress and translate almost instantaneously?
Yeah, we have a multifunction need in regards to the translator. We have meetings with individuals in person. We have documents that need to be translated that we feel that individuals would be able to do and create that personal service as we're utilizing them in IEP meetings, staff meetings, or in general when parents are required translation, and we have somebody available so that we can continue to have that personal contact, but we can expand our availability of the resources with the individual. But I will say, as we're looking at options, we are continuing to look at additional electronic resources too.
Are we required to have a human or a live translator on these meetings? Is that required for us?
That's
Is
a
that
great
something
question. I'll phone a friend.
So that,
in IEPs, is it?
are we required to have a?
Yeah.
Okay. What? Okay, but we've done that with staff members, and we're now getting someone who's designated to do that. Are they going to be filling out forms in that language too? So
There'd be
what IA
it'd be,
can't,
yeah, written and
AI
verbal.
can't do? Going to
Yeah,
be writing forms and other reports like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it's just a comment real quick. It's kind of twofold. Number one, technology is not foolproof. I mean, how many times have I put things on, because I speak Spanish, how many times have I put things into Google Translate, and then if you look at it, it's not really translated correctly.
Well, either are
to have
people.
the
I've heard
meaning.
people translate very poorly as well, unfortunately.
Well,
so.
it depends on the quality. But, and then also to the fact, like how now you have this translator position. It's just like today I held a 504, and I speak fluent Spanish, but they felt like it was better to go ahead and bring in the district interpreter, just because that way I'm not serving both as the 504 coordinator and the translator at the same meeting. They actually keep those positions separate, so it makes it a lot easier.
We have had similar situations where individuals have demanded a translator when there is a family member that could translate, and they would opt to make sure that the district has a translator present.
Can we outsource translators? Just have them on.
We've outsourced some products where that's been translated in return for us in regards to some of the written documents, yep.
But I think the thing about this is that it's overall going to save us money having an individual be their designated task. This is their job versus outsourcing or relying on other employees, doing it in addition to their regular duties. I think, right, is the benefit of this. And Dr. Fogg, I agree with you. I think like the virtual translation services are valuable, but there is something about having a person there, especially when you're doing, I would think with like IEPs and some more sensitive interactions that we might have with students and families. I appreciate us having an actual person to do those interpreting services versus a virtual service.
No, and I agree with you 100%. It's just a cost thing, because as you know, when you're going around, you have all these people that are speaking Spanish. You have to get something virtual. It'd be better to have a person, but better than nothing. And then as we get into different languages, it's going to be very difficult to find that. So you know, I don't know where the district is in the way of just that, you know, how we're moving forward with other languages and technology, which is moving very quickly right now, in my opinion. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. It's just the costing. I mean, we're still paying well over $100,000 for a new position, if I did the math right, and so that's still a lot of money.
Yeah, and what I'll highlight to your point is we're doing both. So this is going to generate a cost savings for what we were paying people to do overtime. But if you remember, the board approved a contract last year with HANA, which is something we use for the languages that may not necessitate a person in the volume that we get, but we still have the need, and that system is being implemented by our schools and working well and connecting with families with the languages that wouldn't necessitate us having a person or a full-time person to communicate.
Okay, any other comments, questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. 02, I'll entertain a motion to approve the provisional internship permit for the recommended teaching candidate as submitted.
So move.
Second. Do we have any discussion, questions on that one?
Just a question, general. Are we shorthanded PE teachers, credentialed PE teachers?
No, we are not shorthanded, but as we have directors of sports that are open or positions that individuals that are going to have an opportunity to impact a school site or a program, these are individuals that we are going to make sure that we credential them the proper way.
Okay. So for example, this candidate's already in a credential program right now?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry. Okay, information items, look ahead at those. If you have any questions before our next meeting, reach out to admin. We will. Oh, probably not. No more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that'll carry, thank you, whoever realized that. All right, information items, look ahead. If you have questions, reach out before our next meeting. We have our board subcommittee reports, and so we had our curriculum and instruction subcommittee today. And Tiffany, do you want to lead out?
Sure, I'll lead out. We had a great conversation about some things and updates of some interesting things going on in the district with like AI. Dina's going to comment on that. First, I just wanted to report that the state of California has given a lot of what we call ELOP dollars, which is basically expanded learning, meaning learning that's happening after the school day. So our ELCs, Expanded Learning Centers, am I getting all these acronyms right? Basically what used to be Campus Club is not Campus Club anymore. It's ELC, and it's not just fun and games. We were supposed to be instructing them and teaching them, and it's still fun and games. But there is an opportunity that we have, that the state is giving us extra dollars to help with the COVID learning gap. And it can help us with our absentee, our ADA, basically. So the instruction has to be either before school or after school. We are calling it AIR time because AIR stands for Academic Intervention and Recovery. And for every hour we get a student to have that intervention after school time or before school time, for every 4 of those hours, we can count a day of ADA, a day of attendance at school. And as you know, the reason this is important is because since COVID, our average ADA is, are we still sitting about 3% lower than pre-COVID? Maybe, Michael, anybody know? Are we at 2% now?
I believe we're a little bit 2% from where our high point was. We're below.
Pre-COVID. Each 1% is about $5 million in general fund ADA money. So this is a great opportunity for us to try and help recoup, and it's also expanded opportunities for families to take advantage of independent study. And anyway, they have lots of ways that we can try to help our students. And the goal for us is not to get money, although that is a great byproduct. The goal is to help with learning loss and the intervention from COVID learning loss. So that looks different at the elementary level versus the secondary level. Secondary level, we're even taking advantage of Saturday school for some of it. And we've actually hired a clerical position to track the time that students are spending at each site. And that money that we're spending on that clerical position will be paid more and more. I mean, we will pay for that person as we increase our percentage of ADA, if that makes sense. Any questions on that?
Susan Rutledge, when we did budget, filled us in on.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Then also, we had a brief conversation about dress code. At the end of last year, our ISC comes forth with some recommendations, and one of the recommendations last spring were soccer slides for grades 7 to 12. For grades TK to 6, we require a heel strap for any shoe because they're running and playing on the playground, et cetera. So that's just a conversation that will start to be discussed on campuses, I'm sure, and parent meetings, et cetera, but something that we'll have a discussion about as a bigger board discussion, but something to start thinking about. Right, Yolanda?
Yeah, so we also had a discussion about the state seal of civic engagement. So we had Leslie Pugh, she's a TOSA, she replaced Emily Wolf in that area in curriculum and instruction. So she's been working on what this state seal of civic engagement is going to look like for our students. It's very early in the planning stages. They shared with us a timeline for implementation, but the goal is to be able to launch the program this February, so our seniors this year could receive this seal on their diploma. And really the goal is to, I guess, get students excited about and involved in engaging their community to solve real-world problems. And so we just had some conversation about where students could get opportunities to be involved civically, like our youth commission, or maybe like some of our law and policy kiddos at CART, or Dina mentioned an organization that you ACT. So just different areas in the community that maybe students might be involved in, and making sure that we are reaching out to students so that they know that these are, that this opportunity is available to them. But I guess we'll have more information. We have another meeting in November, so they will be halfway down the timeline. So I'm sure we'll get an update on that and just seeing how close they are to actually launching this program in the spring. And we also talked, CTE. I'd wanted to talk about 2 new CTE ideas I was hoping maybe we could implement, one being a medical assistant program, and the other being a cosmetology. And really with the thought in mind, I feel like a lot of our career-ready CTE pathways are kind of more attractive to boys more so than girls. And so I was trying to think of CTE career-ready pathways that girls could participate in now in high school and actually go to work as soon as they're out of high school, for those who are not planning to go straight to college. And so a medical assistant and cosmetology were 2 that I wanted to talk about and see if we could look into how to try to implement those in our districts.
You know, we've talked about medical assistants for years.
So we used
Why
to
haven't we implemented? Why?
Well, there used to be one at Clovis Adult, remember? And I don't know what happens if it ends up being like with instructors. I know that was kind of one of the limiting
But we talked about it in our
factors
in our high schools. I know we've, ever since I can remember, we brought it up, and it just.
Sometimes it comes down to the instructor and the criteria. We have several medical careers classes, sorry, couldn't get the exact title, that have different functions, like the one at Buchanan functions more around sports medicine. And then we have some that work more in like hospital type settings and those things. And so they bring that in. They all leave with certifications because there's criteria required by the state. But my understanding is sometimes it's about the specialty of the teacher and the programs that we can put in place with that. But it's something we can definitely explore again. I know that Margaret Files, who oversees our CT, is always evaluating demand and need to make sure we have our students being as competitive as possible when they leave our district, and those that want to go right into the work and career.
Yeah,
And it did sound like they were actually looking into it already.
Well,
At the end of the
I'm
meeting,
just
Chuck
saying, but it's been
Sandoval.
years
I
looking
know.
into-
Well, I
so-
think maybe some of those factors, but it sounds like they are.
So I'm just wondering
It sounds-
how as we as members of the board or members of the community saying, hey, we really need some of these positions. But it really takes up to a faculty member or a staff member that kind of take it under their wing. But I don't know how we as board members can really, I mean, I'd like an optometry one personally, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
We're looking at it for Clovis South. Like Yolanda's saying, we are looking at starting that. It is very difficult to find an instructor because the instructors have certain requirements of them. Those requirements take a lot of education and expertise and experience. One of them's in geriatrics and working it with a certain amount of time with that. A lot of folks aren't going to take that drastic of a pay cut to come and teach students in a CTE pathway. So it was very difficult to find folks that would be willing to come and teach classes instead of working in the medical field with those requirements and certification. But we are looking at it for Clovis South, and as Yolanda's saying, kind of restarting that, jump-starting that. So it's just difficult to find those instructors, so.
All right, Dina?
Okay, and we finished off first discussion. We had just a very brief discussion. As required by law, we are having to change some of the mascots at our schools. So the discussion came up today regarding Clark. And just there's been, I think, both parent and student surveys. What was that? And staff surveys, just to kind of get some feelers out there for some ideas and suggestions. But nothing's been finalized yet. I forget the date when you guys want to finalize it by. Okay, so November we'll bring recommendations. And then the Clovis Unified, last year, I think, I took the lead in training staff on AI. We had this past summer, they're calling it AI educators, right? Okay, AI educators. So this past summer, we actually had a cohort where they're training our staff on the use of AI. Two of the main objectives with AI for the district are to create safe learning environments to teach students appropriate AI use, and then also to provide staff with a place to create learning spaces to align with classroom instruction and student support. So they also have another cohort that just began this past week, and they're going to continue to do that to get the Clovis Unified staff trained, so that way not only does it eliminate sometimes, I think, the fear that comes along with using something new, but I thought Mr. Marquez with the district said it well. It's to enhance what we already do best in the district, and so how can we take AI and use it to enhance the things that we already do well at? And I think that was it, but it's really exciting every time I sit there at the table, because I'm a teacher myself, and I'm like, okay, what can I learn? And we actually got to do like a little sample of a lesson that you could do, and it actually happened to be the exact lesson that I'm teaching in ancient civilizations to my 6th graders, and I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. It was actually kind of cool. Joe Marquez and then Sherry, what's her last name? Johnston, they are just absolutely incredible. This is the second instructional services subcommittee meeting that I've sat in where we've discussed AI, and they're just incredible, and I'm just like, can I borrow this? Can I borrow this? I'm a teacher too. Can I borrow this? So anyway, the district's doing awesome with the AI.
I just want to add to that. I think that they shared that we're way ahead of other districts in trying to help our teachers be prepared for this, and that Mr. Marquez is on the state advisory committee. I'm not sure what it's called.
Actually, he said there was like 600 applicants to be on an advisory committee to the CDE. 50. To California Department of Education. Yeah. And he was one of 60 to be chosen to be on that committee. Yeah. Thank you for reminding me of that.
So just a great compliment to them for their work and trying to be ahead of it. I appreciate it.
I do have a question. Is these changes in the mascots, is that coming to the board level for a vote?
Yes.
Okay. And if we vote it down, what happens?
better ask them. It's a state law,
I think the
apparently.
recommendation will be coming to us in November.
Okay. Look forward to that.
Apparently, it's state law, though.
Okay, all right, thank you, ladies. Board member reports.
I don't have a lot to report other than just want to say we had the funeral service for my stepmom last Saturday. And so the last few months, I've kind of been in my own world. And so I'm back and hopefully get back on my game.
Well, I would like to report to the board some, though I'm sure everyone knows what happened a couple weeks ago. A speaker at Utah Valley University was shot. That's the university my son goes to. He was not there, but his cousin was standing right behind the speaker when that happened. I had a conversation with him. What he witnessed was horrific. Okay, he was just from here to there. And he told me he dropped to the ground thinking, I'm going to get shot too. That's what the first thing he thought. He was there with his friends, and they all dropped. They all thought that's what was going to happen. And he said it was the scary. He says, please don't shoot me in the head anywhere else but there. That's what they thought. These kids were absolutely terrified. And, he just says, I don't know what happened up front, but all I want to do is save my friends, the girls I was with, I felt responsible for. And he says, he thought here at the university, Utah Valley University, one of the safest universities, how could this possibly happen? How could this possibly be? This 22-year-old, they think it's this 22-year-old kid who is not well, ended this life, and the group of kids which affected my family have been affected permanently. He says now they don't know what to make of it. This noises now bother him. It's almost like he has experienced, kind of a trauma of war. Now, what it brings up to me is how horrible this is, and certainly our teachers and staff need to understand, maybe it doesn't affect all of our students, but there are some of our students who are affected by that kind of grief, maybe have, some, kind of relate, could that happen in some place for Clovis? Because I have to admit, that could never happen in Clovis, right? That doesn't happen here. That happens other places. But it came to mind that, what if it did? Are we prepared for that? Are we doing what we can? I know we're doing some new safety things. I think, it may be extreme. Are we flying drones over places that people can be, and trying to protect our kids? I'm hoping that's a waste of time, but even there, no one thought that in one of the safest universities that could happen. Now, I'm not saying we should have fear, because we can't live in fear. But I think we need to live in understanding. We certainly don't want any of our staff or teachers celebrating anyone dying. I mean, that does affect children. We don't want to think anything like that would be good in any manner, because it does affect people. And I think we need to be aware, and, it's been 2 weeks, maybe, news moves on, but in some of these kids' lives, especially in Utah where they're there, but even here locally, it's not forgotten. And I think we need to be sensitive to that, and we need to remind our faculty, our staff, and those that may not be realizing that there may be additional fear until they can understand they can be safe. And I think we do everything we can be safe. There's only so much you can do, but I want to report that out because it's personal for me. It's affected my family, and I think I would be heartbroken if that happened in my community. So I hope we're always aware of that, but we also need to support those that may be traumatized by that and have that fear. And some of the fear is unrealistic, so we need to deal with that too, because some of it's not, it's very unlikely to happen, and, but if it happened there, and this is what he told me, then I think it can happen almost anywhere. So we can't say it can't happen, but then on the other hand, we can't live in fear as well. And so I wanted to report that to the board. I think we should always remember that, and I just wanted to make sure that you understood my sensitivity of that, and that we need to continue to do what we can. We're doing the trying to have the glass we're breaking into, the other things, and I was a little bit critical of that, saying, oh, why are we spending all that money? But I'm not sure if I am, I think I may change a little bit because of, what I have to, I talked to still my son, he says he's, doesn't know how to deal with it. And he's, you know, he's not young. He's still in his young 20s. But anyway, so I just wanted to share that with the board and report out that we need to just be aware and just be sensitive to that as well.
Thank you, Steve. That's heavy to go after. Mine's a little more lighthearted.
Please lighten it up,
okay.
Tiffany.
I had the opportunity to attend the Clovis East Howl on Saturday evening with some others in this room and Dr. Fulmer. And just it was great to be with the Clovis East community and to see that support there. And I'm planning this weekend to go to Clovis North. I think Clovis West is the same night too. It's hard when they're the same night. And then Buchanan's is after that. So I appreciate and value the community involvement, the parent involvement that we have at our sites that make these evenings possible to help raise money for our schools, to provide more opportunities for our students. And then the last thing is I'd like to wish Miss Lori Regier a happy birthday. And thank you for all that you do for us to help us stay organized and look kind of good and whatever. Thank you for all you do for us and listen to us when we need to vent.
Thank you for spending your birthday with us, 8:30. I too had the pleasure of attending the Clovis High School Cougar Barbecue. That was some event, very well organized, great attendance, and amazing barbecue food. So thank you to the Clovis High staff. Secondly, I just am very impressed with, we just had a joint meeting maybe about a month ago with the Clovis City Council to discuss the dangers of e-bikes/scooters. And just last week, I saw the notice explaining great detail about the different types of e-bikes, the dangers, and the qualifications in order to ride one or drive one. So I'm very impressed about this turnaround time. And I did want to update the board. Back in May, we attended the Clovis Adult High School graduation, and there was a keynote speaker by the name of Angelica Tahara, who spoke about her journey as a former foster youth and how she persevered. I went up to her shortly after graduation and asked her to speak at our CASA crab feed event, where there was about 650 guests and another 150 with volunteers and staff. She was amazing. She shared her resiliency, and all I could do was just sit very proud and think about it was because she had great people who made a difference in her lives, and Clovis Unified was a part of that. And she had mentioned she had just completed her LVN class and was looking for a position. And I was contacted immediately by 2 school districts. Hopefully Clovis was one of the first ones to, to ask her to come for an interview. Along the same venue, some of you may know this or not, but Roxanne Braswell, our HR Chief Officer, serves as the president of the CASA board, and this is her first year as president. She has served on the board a number of years, and what a year she has had. So I just want to say kudos for holding down the fort here and also at CASA. So you were amazing. You gave a great presentation, and I'm grateful for you as the president and friend.
I'll wrap it up. Just to follow up on what Wilma shared about the CASA event, we had Hugh and I and Dina and Norm and we had a nice table. Lots of us there from Clovis Unified, and it was such an honor to be there to celebrate Wilma, who I think we all know is retiring from her role in 2 days from CASA. It was a beautiful venue, an incredible amount of people, a very well-done event. It was just nice to be able to be there for such a special cause, but to celebrate you and support you. We showed up, and she was greeting guests. She's like in this red dress and these red stilettos. not subtle at all. And she's like, hey, welcome. So it was just great to see her in her element. So very proud to be able to support you, Wilma. And,
Thank you.
And then, yes, lots of football. This last week was Clovis East's homecoming. And, when I was in high school, we did float. So I am still just so impressed when the kids do these skits. I think these skits are the best thing ever at homecoming. And so Clovis East did a phenomenal job with their skits and just seeing all the kids out there. And it's funny because it's not just the leadership kids, right? It's, the kids that don't normally do that type of thing, coming and getting out of their show. We may or may not know a young lady whose mom was like, oh my gosh, look at my kid out there dancing. So it was just great to see all of the kids in her class one. So just great to see just different students coming together at homecoming and doing their skits. And it was a good time to be out there. And so, yeah, that's all I have.
I had a couple more things I forgot you brought to my attention.
Okay.
Number one, yeah, like I said, I've been kind of scatterbrained. You can understand why. I was responsible for the service, so it's kind of scatterbrained. But yes, I attended the CASA event, and I was sitting at the table with Marie, the director of nursing. And as soon as Angelica said, oh, she was looking for a position, the director of nursing says, we'll hire her. So I was like in the middle of the CASA dinner texting Wilma and Sally Moreno, the district attorney for Madera County. Her and I actually go way back. It's interesting as to how the communities work. When I worked in Madera Unified for 4 years, I was an academic coach at Madera High, and I was the mock trial coach. And Sally Moreno was one of my 3 attorney coaches back then before she was district attorney. So her and I so it was really good to see her. And then just to put in a plug for, we were talking about AI, and I meant to bring this up. So in January, when the Fresno County School Trustees Association dinner is hosted by Clovis Unified at TBEC, actually the topic is probably going to be AI at that meeting. And so I know the trustee association, the board of directors were, I think, putting out feelers there. I mentioned Joe Marquez, I mentioned, they're looking at different people like Alice Keeler, different people that they possibly can. Alice, yeah. So anyway, I don't know who they're gonna decide. There's a committee that's deciding that, but yeah, the trustee dinner also that will be hosted at TBEC January 20th will also probably have some type of AI theme.
Okay, anybody else with any last minute thoughts? Anything they want to share? All right, well, this meeting is adjourned.